She said me on IFB1, you on IFB2.
I'm already there.
Nobody waved twice.
I think so.
Maybe I do know him. I don't know.
There's a good chance you've talked to him. He made you laugh on the way to you.
Yeah. So, alright.
Yeah. I guess no one didn't see that.
So they want to do the same thing as Y12, where I like tap dance up to him talking, and then toss to Rysewyk.
Whatever, I'm just here to point the camera.
Yeah.
Charging it earlier.
What?
I'll turn this off too.
I know, I just saw that.
So you're going to hold the mic then?
Yes. The other channel, though. How about now, Annie? There it is. We're still waiting. Got it. By the way, I could hear myself if they can put it on IFB1.
You want to step out there in front of the camera so I can get
Yeah.
that set? Okay, take a little, now back up. Back up.
Thank you.
Eyes dry. Gut towards me a little bit.
We're at West High School. We're waiting on Jon Rysewyk to come out and tell us what's happening. No, not anymore. Yes, thank you.
Just so you know, I wouldn't have actually backed you.
I knew what you were doing.
Got your fancy shoes on, I wouldn't have backed you.
He came. Yeah, man.
Hey, is this still the booth?
Yes.
Yes. It's 6-8 and Jesse Mayshark.
So I imagine you're going to be live 4, 5, and 6 here.
I think so. Yeah.
I have a little bit of B-roll, but not really much. I mean, it's like this.
Okay.
I tried to avoid the kids as much as possible, just you know how that goes.
Yeah. I agree.
Hello? That's all I need. That would be all I would need, so. But we should be good whenever they come out, because it's now charging. But, yeah, do that. Thank you. You alright? Thank you, sir. What's that?
Comes Carmen. Tell us to come on up.
I'm sorry for the confusion, guys. But yeah, y'all are welcome to come up here. What would be?
You know how we are about going on school property.
I know. I appreciate.
Well, wherever you want to go, I don't care. Hey guys, how are you all?
Good.
How are you? Doing well. Not the best, man. Doing okay now?
Can we all get up in the shade, please? Yeah. That way we're not fighting. No, we're doing stick. You're being for real. Here.
No, I'm kidding.
Question, willing to, yeah, he's in. I can,
I think he's starting Annie.
same side or other side, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, just as long as they're not interfering. Does that sound all right?
Any chance we could have it done this way?
Oh, they're both on the inside. They need to be on the outside.
Are any of you guys streaming live?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brittany Bailey, and we are following breaking news for you right now. We are expecting to hear from the Knox County Schools Superintendent in just moments. That's after Knoxville police say a teacher was grazed by a bullet in a classroom. Police say this appears the gun was in a student's backpack. They say the teacher was grazed by either a bullet or a bullet fragment. Now, there were no serious injuries. The student is in custody. But again, we are waiting to hear from the superintendent momentarily. We certainly have lots of questions about this incident. We are hoping to get answered for you. We do not know whether that gun went off in the backpack, if perhaps it had been taken out of the backpack. We don't know if the teacher was intentionally hit by or grazed by that bullet or bullet fragment. We're still working to learn whether there was metal detectors at the entrance. We do know that some Knox County schools do have metal detectors. We don't know if there was a wand in place, how exactly that gun got into the classroom in that backpack, but we are hoping to learn more. We're expecting to hear from the superintendent momentarily. Here, let's listen in.
This summer, when we worked with the Sheriff's Department and with Chief Noel, with KPD, just even talking about safe schools, safe students, and how important that was to us. We knew that coming into the school year, so we've obviously had a great relationship with both Sheriff Spangler and also with Chief Noel. Our teams work really close together. So what's been great is we have that working relationship, and when you have that on the front side, you don't have to worry about that when incidents take place. So I want to say, first of all, thanks to our partnerships for that. So I also want to say, because we were able to meet with the West High staff, and did that a few minutes ago, just a great chance to meet with them. Just want to thank them just for doing what we would expect educators to do, taking care of their kids, making sure they were safe, the administration, Dr. Spees, and just her ability to really handle the situation well, to make sure kids were safe today, and kids were safe today. And we just we're thankful for the way they reacted to that, and very happy with that. So I think there's not a lot I'm going to be able to say particularly to the incident today, because it is a criminal investigation. I think KPD's released a statement, kind of the details of some of those things that took place today, and again, we're not going to get in way of that investigation. We'll continue to work with them on that. So I think the main things I wanted to talk about today too is just really say that the staff did what they were supposed to. Very, very orderly medium lockdown they went into, and then moving into the dismissal went great. Families were great and did a great job with that too, and kids were safe. So thankful. I did want to say as well, we had additional folks, additional security that came when we learned there was some things going on, and also our school culture team. We deploy them as well, who have extra mental health supports, and just to take care of not just the students but also the staff, and they were here to do that, and we'll continue that next week as well. Both will be here to make sure that we have that, and we shared that with the staff as well when we met today.
Do you know how that teacher is doing?
I did have a chance to meet with a teacher and have a conversation with that individual, and ask, how would you like for us? We know that question is probably coming. How would you? And just to show again the heart of our educators and the heart of this individual, just to say, I don't want to be recognized. I took care of my kids today. I love my kids, and I'll be back on Monday. I think that says a lot. So. In good shape, obviously, was here, was able to attend the staff meeting, those sorts of things. And again, we want to make sure we're taking care in multiple days past this too, so that both any concerns that come up as well as any physical, but at this point we didn't see that.
So they didn't need to go to the hospital or anything like that?
No, this individual was actually in the staff meeting and, and shared a few thoughts. And again, I was glad we got to share a few minutes together as well.
So what time did the incident happen exactly?
Again, I'm probably not going to be able to talk a lot on the timeline of those kinds of things. We'd probably refer to our law enforcement partners on kind of their timeline for that.
Can you say how long the school was in lockdown for?
Well, so once, these situations are always fluid. And so as we were getting information, we were trying to share information. And so we felt at that point that students were pretty safe. But really for us, we went into a medium lockdown, which is not, It's not a hard lockdown. It's a little different. There's a little more freedom to move about the building. And that was really to prepare us for an orderly dismissal. That was kind of what we decided that was the best thing to do at that point. Obviously, a big disruption in the day, and probably not a lot of learning going to happen at that point. So the main reason for that was to try to get folks kind of in an orderly fashion to be able to do that. And I'll say again, they did that very well, be able to kind of time releases of students and that sort of thing. And so I think that did help us do that.
Can you walk us through the response? What happened? You said it was a bit of a lockdown there.
Yeah, so it's kind of a protocol that we would do sometimes in those. So there's different levels without going into all of our security details of lockdowns that we look at. And the one that was here was more for kind of thing that you would see if there's not a major safety concern, but there could be some folks entering the building, or there could be some folks exiting the building, and we just kind of want to clear the halls and make sure everybody's accounted for and do that. So this was more of an order kind of lockdown than it was a safety lockdown at the time that was put in.
Are there metal detectors at this school or any Knox County schools?
Good question. So we do have a way, and I'll have Chief speak to some of that in a second, but we do have a way to do kind of random searches and that sort of thing, but we don't. I'll say this. I know anytime incidents happen, that's kind of a question that comes up. It's a tough it's a challenge to kind of think through that, because school is a place that we've all been to. School is a place that you love, and you have relationships, and it's fun, and it should be attractive, and you want people to come to that. We always try to balance that with safety and the chance that you can move into kind of institutionalizing something so much that it just doesn't feel like home, and you don't have those kind of experiences. And I think we do a good job of that. There are times when we have in the past, the history of Knox County schools kind of had more of a presence for that, or maybe kind of portable sorts of things where we do kind of random weapon searches and that sort of thing. But we do not have any installed in our schools, and feel like we still have good safety protocols without that at this time.
Will this make you reevaluate?
We're always reevaluating everything that we do. I think, unfortunately, when incidents happen across the country, again, Chief Perryard does a great job of that. We're constantly assessing things. Safety is never a place you arrive. It's always a thing that you're constantly looking at, and it seems like those challenges change constantly. So our team does a great job, again, working with local law enforcement, TBI, and people like that to make sure we're trained up, make sure that we're up to the most recent things that need to be happening. And so we always look at all possibilities when situations like this happen. But ultimately, it's real important for us too to make sure school is a welcoming and warm place that people want to be.
Do you know if this was an accidental discharge, or was the gun actually pulled out of the backpack?
Again, because it's a criminal investigation, there's not a lot I can speak to on that side. So thank you for the question, though.
Firearms in schools across the country has been an issue, and so for the parents who, this is top of mind for them, and a scary incident that they really never want to see at their child's school, what is your message to those parents who are now fearful of that?
Sure. I'll say this. I'm a parent myself. I have a daughter who attends Knox County schools. Both of them did, but one's still here. And I think, unfortunately, that's, as parents, we feel those things now. And it's not just related to schools. We have some issues in society across the board where we see those things happening. But I will say this. I feel more confident about our schools than I do a lot of places in public. I know, and Chief Perryard in a minute can speak to some of our general kind of security measures that we take. I believe very strongly in having the armed officers in the school. We have that, and I think that's a huge deterrent to those kinds of things. They're well trained, and not only is it the fact that they're armed, but it's the fact that they're trained in what to do in situations. You can't predict what's going to happen, and every situation is different. But when you have trained folks who are in the building who know what to do, that helps a lot. We have that in our own security department, very rigorous security training that they go through. I've been able to sit through some of those and be at those graduations and understand just the depth of that. But then also, we're fortunate in our schools that either the Sheriff's Department or Knoxville Police Department have an officer here as well. So you even have that collaboration between the two to have those kinds of conversations when we're doing that. Our administrators are trained. Every school has a safety plan. Every school, we got 90 buildings, and they're all uniquely different. So there's not one thing that every school needs to have, and it takes care of all that. Each one has a unique safety plan that we fund and build those things in. So there are a lot of measures in place for those things to happen. And I'll say this, even with that, again, as a parent, there's nothing is ever 100% sure. So when we started this summer talking about safe schools, safe students, we really talked about the need for everyone to speak up and to talk. And we're fortunate. A lot of parents do share things. If there's a concern, they'll send it to the administration. Students talking and sharing things on our tip line. And we'll share that with you guys again. again, to be able to know that's monitored 24 hours a day, those kinds of things. So all of that layered and layered and layered together makes everything safe. And I really feel like we do a really good job of that. But we need people to continue that. Don't rest and just assume everything's safe. If you see something, say something and speak up and let us know. And in all of these situations, lots of times there are folks who do kind of step up and do that. And we think a lot of things get avoided through that too. So I just encourage the community, parents, other students to continue to talk to us and let us know things.
Can you say what year the student was in?
Just really not able to comment on that right now, but thanks.
And then as far as the loud noise, when did you all figure out, or how did you all figure out that it was a gun?
So I'll say, again, those processes are fluid. I know, we always try to be transparent and communicate as much as we can to families so they know, because we understand they entrust their students with us. So, we send messages out as we do. The situation was fluid as we began working with law enforcement. Some of the earlier things that we knew, there were some other details that came in, and so we changed our strategy at that point to move forward. So again, I don't want to get into timelines or when things happen. That's really more for the investigation. But just to let you know that we try to be transparent and we do communicate as we do, and sometimes we learn more things as we're going through that. The thoughts? And I'll unattach and let Chief talk.
Well, you just heard there from the superintendent of Knox County Schools about the incident that happened earlier today at West High School. We still are working to learn more details. We do know that a gun went off in a classroom. It had been in a backpack. We don't know yet whether that gun was taken out of the backpack before it went off or whether it went off while it was in the backpack, but it did graze a teacher. The superintendent said moments ago that teacher is okay. In fact, the teacher stayed for a staff meeting after this incident and said that teacher plans to be back on Monday. So that is good news when it comes to that. No other injuries today. We also heard a little bit more about school security. We found out that that school does not have metal detectors in place, but as the superintendent said, school security is always an ongoing issue. Safety is an ongoing issue. They potentially could look at changes. They do spot checks sometimes if there is a concern. We are not sure exactly how this incident was first discovered. We were hearing about a loud noise, reports of that. That all is still under investigation, and as you probably heard, the superintendent said there are many things he cannot say yet, but we are now getting ready to hear from the school security chief, so perhaps we can have a few more answers when it comes to that. Let's listen in here.
From your side, your perspective, can you just tell us when the call came in and
Sure.
what you guys did, what your procedures were?
Sure. I wanted to preface everything that I say with, because it's a KPD investigation and it's ongoing, it would be irresponsible for me to give too much detail, but I'll share what I can and what I've already cleared with KPD. At 9:20 today, we received a report through our alert system, our crisis management system, that we had an incident in a classroom. There was multiple reports of different things, a sound, a pop, or whatever. We immediately responded. Our security apparatus immediately responded at the school. Our security and our law enforcement contacts on the ground were there in seconds. We were able to stabilize the scene, establish through investigation, basically what happened. The investigation resulted in the detention of a student, or the arrest of a student, and the recovery of a firearm. That's really the timeline, and that's all I'm able to provide to you as far as the actual facts of the incident. I will defer to KPD for that information.
Was this something that came through on the tip line he was talking about just a minute ago?
No, this was actually our system. We have a crisis management system that we use several communications means to get information to the right people. Some of it was right there at the scene, so that was a quick response, and then some of it was through our crisis management and operations center at the central office.
Is that something that's just used by the school itself or by the whole school?
Oh, no, we tie in with our government partners as well. So we're tied in with local law enforcement, emergency management, E911, so it was all tied together.
So they get all that information in real time?
Almost instantaneously, yeah. And we're working on actually upgrading those systems, which is why I'm excited to talk about last night, and I know you guys want to talk about today, but this really highlights the need for more resources, and the board and our leadership has just been amazing in getting those resources to me so that we can make Phase 3 a reality, and Phase 3 will include adding a lot of those real-time information sharing networks, tip lines, moving to an app-based system, because we know this is a kind of an outdated system. So there's going to be different layers that we're going to be rolling out next year that we're going to be excited about. And thank God, obviously, today the system worked. I feel like the response was appropriate. We didn't over-respond. It seemed like the folks that were here followed the protocols to the letter. Although I will say this, we're never satisfied with that. I will be doing a full after-action review next week with my senior leadership to ensure that we had a timely response, that all the systems were in place, and that there was no single points of failure, which is what we're always looking for when we look at physical security.
Was there? Sorry, go ahead.
What do those reviews look like exactly?
Sure. What we do is we get around the table with administrators, with our school culture personnel to make sure the resources were brought to bear, our counselor, our HR representative, and we just we walk through the process step by step, and we basically do which is like a dry briefing, basically. So we go through step by step what happened, what was brought to bear, who knew what, and then we try to bring lessons learned to the senior leadership. We let them know what actions we're going to be taking as a result of that. So we'll be giving that information back to the senior leadership to see if there's any things we can improve in the future.
Were there any SROs or law enforcement?
All right, there you were listening to more about how all of this incident played out at West High School earlier this morning. It was just after 9 o'clock when the call went out. They found out that a student who had a gun in a backpack, that gun had gone off. It did graze either a bullet or a bullet fragment. A teacher who was not seriously injured. The teacher is okay. No other injuries reported. We do want to update you with information we've just received from Knoxville Police. Excuse me, bear with me while I read it directly to you so I can get you all of the information. It said the West High School student involved has been charged with reckless endangerment, reckless aggravated assault, and possession of a weapon on school grounds. The investigation revealed the discharge of the weapon was not intentional. The weapon discharged in the backpack. The injuries to the teacher were very minor and did not require medical attention. Of course, we are still following this story. We are still streaming that press conference right now online at WBIR.com if you would like to tune in there. Otherwise, we will send you back to regular programming. And of course, we will have the very latest for you starting today at 4 p.m. for Live at 5 at 4. Please join us then.
Thank you.